The first time I heard the story, it sounded like something out of a courtroom drama, but it really began in silence. Heavy, suffocating silence inside a luxury apartment high above Chicago. Curtains sealed shut, corners padded, every sharp edge covered. You'd think it was because the owner was paranoid or eccentric, but no. It was because his twin boys Daniel and Joshua were born into darkness. 7 years old, two little boys who had never seen their father's face, never followed the trail of sunlight on the floor. Doctors from New York to Zurich had all said the same thing: no chance, they will never see. And their father, a tech millionaire named Thomas Green, had burned through millions chasing answers only to be left with grief, silence, and the sound of his sons sobbing themselves to sleep. Thomas had lost his wife the night the twins were born. So he carried two tragedies, the woman he loved gone, and two boys condemned to a life without light. His company's stock hit record highs, but money was useless when every night ended with him standing in the study staring at the city he could not share with his kids. That was the setting when someone unexpected walked into their lives. Her name was Naomi Carter. She wasn't a doctor, wasn't a therapist. She came to apply for a housekeeping job. Slim, steady-eyed hair tied back, wearing clean but worn sneakers. She carried nothing fancy, just a tool bag and a calm presence that unsettled the staff right away. The guard at the desk muttered, "Service entrance is around back." She lifted her chin and said, "I'm here to meet Mr. Green by appointment." That moment told you a lot. Naomi had spent a lifetime being shoved to the side, being told she belonged out of sight, but she never let it stick to her. Thomas, exhausted from interviews and therapies, barely looked up as he skimmed her resume. Keep the house clean, stay out of the children's therapy schedule. Do not give them hope, only to crush it again. Understood. His voice cracked on that last part. Naomi nodded. "I don't promise what I can't deliver," she said quietly. "But I'll respect your family's pain." Her first day on the job, Naomi was just supposed to clean. But upstairs, behind a half-open door, she heard the boys' muffled cries. She peeked in and saw them rocking back and forth in giant chairs, little bodies trying to soothe themselves. Their nanny, a sharp woman named Mrs. Whitfield, sat scrolling on her phone, tossing out words like, "Stop crying, it won't change anything." Naomi's chest tightened. She could have walked away, but instead she gripped her spray bottle and stepped in. The sound of the mist hitting glass made a crisp hiss. Both boys' heads shot up, faces turning toward her with uncanny precision. She whispered, "Hey there, I'm Naomi. I came to make this room clean and fresh." One of the twins tilted his head. "Where's Mrs. Whitfield?" Naomi smiled. "She'll be right back. Want to help me listen to the sounds?" She squeezed again. The other boy giggled. Soon both were tapping their fingers in rhythm with her spray. For the first time in years, laughter filled that room. Naomi realized something: this house wasn't just dark, it was afraid of light. Every curtain pulled tight as if sunlight itself was an enemy. But fear, she thought, is just a story someone told once, and nobody questioned. The next day, she pulled a chair close to the boys and whispered, "Want to try a game? If it feels bad, you say stop right away." She pinched the curtains open just a crack. A narrow blade of light slipped across the carpet. The boys froze, then slowly turned their faces toward it. One whispered, "It feels different." The other added, "It's brighter." Naomi stepped in front of the beam, casting a shadow. "Now darker," one said immediately. Her heart leapt. This wasn't random. This was recognition. She quickly shut the curtain and held their hands. Thank you. That's enough for today. Of course it didn't stay secret. Mrs. Whitfield walked in, saw the boys smiling near the window, and snapped, "Your job is cleaning, not playing doctor. People like you come and go. Don't make promises you can't keep." Her eyes lingered on Naomi's dark skin, as if that explained everything. Before Naomi could respond, little Daniel piped up, "Mrs. Whitfield, the light didn't hurt." Whitfield's face went pale. "Who told you to try this, Miss Naomi?" the boys said together. And that's when Thomas walked in. He froze at the words, light and hurt. For 7 years, those two words had been tangled together in his home. Naomi stood her ground. "I only opened a tiny slit. They could stop any time. They told me when it got brighter or darker." Thomas knelt in front of his sons. "Did it hurt?" "No," they whispered. He turned back to Naomi, voice trembling. "Do it again." "Exactly as before. I need to see." So she opened the curtain just a thread. The boys turned faces, following her hand as she blocked the light. Thomas's jaw dropped. His eyes filled. "Oh my God. But hope always comes with enemies." The original Dr. Collins heard about Naomi's discovery and immediately threatened, "This is reckless. She's not licensed. False hope is cruelty." He even called child services, accusing Naomi of endangering the boys. For a moment, it looked like everything would collapse. When state officials arrived at the penthouse, Naomi didn't panic. She laid out her notebook, detailed times, light levels, responses, even video clips. "This isn't treatment," she said. "This is documented play. The children can stop any time." The officials watched as Naomi opened the curtain a crack, and the twins responded with the same precision. One whispered darker, the other laughed brighter. The officials exchanged a glance. "We see no harm. This looks like careful sensory play. Continue until the hospital reevaluation." And that reevaluation changed everything. Dr. Rebecca Morris, a respected pediatric specialist, ran a battery of gentle tests. Pupils responded, brainwaves lit up, patterns were tracked. Her conclusion stunned Thomas. "Your children are not totally blind. They have about 30% functional vision. With the right stimulation, they can improve." She looked straight at Naomi. "What you did is exactly what we'd prescribe, slow, safe, consent-based. You'd think that would settle it." But Dr. Collins doubled down, leaking stories to the press. Reckless Maid experimenting on children. Headlines blared with prejudice. Comment sections filled with bile. Keep the help in her place. Naomi stayed quiet, but her notes and videos told the truth. And when civil rights attorneys stepped in, digging into Collins's past records, they found audit logs, proof that years ago, a note about possible light perception had been erased from the twins' file. Someone had decided it was easier to tell parents total blindness than admit uncertainty. The case exploded. Courtrooms filled, experts clashed. Collins sneered across the table. "Do you have any medical degree?" Naomi answered softly. "Enough to know when a child says stop, we stop. Enough to keep records. Science speaks for itself." The jury believed her. Collins and his clinic were found guilty of negligence, defamation, and systemic bias. The court ordered public corrections, anti-bias training, and the creation of a gentle light fund to help other families. On live television, the network that once called her a reckless maid had to air an apology. We retract our coverage and apologize to Ms. Naomi Carter. Meanwhile, the twins were no longer prisoners of a dark apartment. At school, they had special desks by curtained windows, bright paper, and mobility training. In the park, they learned to follow shadows of leaves and chase kites in the sky. Their laughter, real, full-throated laughter, echoed through places that had been silent for years. And Naomi. She wasn't just the maid anymore. Thomas offered her a permanent role not just as coordinator, but as family. She stayed not for the paycheck, but for the sun puddles the boys pointed at with joy. But the story doesn't tie up neatly with a bow. Prejudice didn't disappear. Even after the trial, there were whispers. She got lucky. She crossed the line. She was just the help. And that's the part that still stings. Naomi proved them wrong. Yet she'll tell you bias doesn't vanish overnight. It hides in headlines and side comments and the way people look at you when you dare to be more than what they expect. So let me ask you, what do you think? Was Naomi reckless, stepping beyond the role she was hired for? Or was she the only one who finally listened to those boys? Have you ever seen someone written off because of their job, their skin, their gender, and then watched them prove everyone wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a story about light. It's about who gets to be heard and who gets shoved aside. And maybe, just maybe, it's about the courage it takes to open a curtain when the world insists it should stay closed.